Hello and welcome to a very unusual musical experience. You will hear now the Lagrime di San Pietro, the Tears of St. Peter, written by Orlando di Lasso in 1595. Orlando was, with Palestrina, one of the two great composers of the Renaissance. Palestrina's music is famous for being perfection, a kind of mathematical perfection of form that has never been equaled. Whereas Orlando di Lasso is really the opposite. He's like Bob Dylan. The music is broken, a mess. There's no perfection of form. There's a sense of failure. There's a sense of total despair. There's a sense of craziness, of randomness. There's a sense, first of all, that half of his output is secular music. And so he's really into popular music. He's into music that can describe sex. He's into music that can describe what you're feeling. And he's a great sacred composer. And why we treasure this music is the harmonic density and richness of it describes a broken heart, a broken spirit, in these chords that have such shocking dissonance, but also reveal that it's not till you're on a terrible heroin trip, ODing, and you've destroyed everything in your life, that you see Jesus. That the darkest moment in your life is right next to the moment of illumination. Orlando creates music that has all this darkness, all this sense of depression, all this sense of what we should have done and we didn't do. And at the same time has this light that shines in the darkness of each of these chords. Renaissance polyphony is an art form that was unequaled until 3 centuries later, when composers like Messiaen and Ligeti worked with the same type of dense harmonic complexity. The Lagrime di San Pietro is the last piece of Orlando's life. He was the greatest master of the Renaissance by that point, but also the Renaissance was over. Michelangelo had died 30 years before. This was a very lonely old man writing in a style that no one was interested in. And so, like the B minor Mass of Bach, the last work of a great master, he already knows that he's not writing for anyone in his lifetime to hear. He's writing something for people who come later. He's writing music for future generations. The story of this incredible cycle of madrigals, 21 madrigals, or 20 madrigals and 1 motet, for 21 singers. It's written in 7-part harmony, 3 voices on a part. The story is the arrest of Jesus as the police are putting the handcuffs on Jesus. They see Peter. They say, "Oh, do you know this guy?" Peter says, "No, I don't." Jesus looks at Peter, and they take Jesus away. The next 80 minutes of music are going to be about one topic: what was inside that look? Peter is frightened. He's intimidated. The arresting officers around Jesus, there's an army of people. They have spears. They have swords. He's frightened. He said, "I better not say anything." And as soon as they take Jesus away, he feels 1,000 swords and spears pierce his heart from Jesus' look. These images of Renaissance poetry are all about what is inside a look. There's one madrigal which is about hearing from looking in somebody's eyes. It says, if we had 10,000 years of everything human beings have ever said, it would never say as much as Jesus said in that one look, in that one moment. There's another madrigal which is about lovers. Communicate not through words, but through touch and through look. The eyes, the eyes. There's another madrigal which says, okay, if the human eye is capable of seeing beauty, if the human eye is capable of insight, if the human eye is capable of appreciating the majesty and beauty and complexity of the universe, imagine what the divine eye can see. And the effect of the divine eye on the human senses. This music is so far out in a place of such metaphysical longing and vision, but it also describes moment by moment Peter's crisis. As it says in the Bible, he goes to a bar, a sports bar. People are drinking there, up on television. They're showing the arrest of Jesus, and people say, "Oh, is that you standing next to him?" And Peter says, no, I don't know this person. Orlando gives you the atmosphere of this bar, this filthy tavern. He gives you Peter's sense of being dirty all over. And he musically paints the scene in which Peter wanders off into the night, shouting in the streets, kicking over garbage cans, and finally tries to kill himself. That madrigal ends with the incredible words, as Peter tries to kill himself but cannot. I want to kill my soul, which was born to live forever. And Orlando keeps the words, which was born to live forever, which was born to live forever, which was born to live forever. And it has the grandeur of a Bruckner symphony. I mentioned that Orlando wrote this at the end of his life, a life of many regrets. This piece is about everything Peter failed to do when he was young and what haunted him the rest of his life. Waking up 25 years later in the middle of the night and hearing the rooster crowing to announce his betrayal of Jesus. But of course, Orlando was having a very specific experience of old age. The last 5 madrigals are quite overwhelming. Orlando very much wants to leave the world. He is in agony. Old age is the last and most difficult human challenge. The music describes the physical pain, the mental pain, the forgetfulness, the difficulty of making the simplest move in your body. One incredible madrigal says, I was with Jesus when he made the lame walk, when he made the blind see, when he made the dumb speak. And I can't even remember it. The prayer to die is very intense, and this piece moves to an unbearable intensity of feeling. 2 weeks after he wrote the piece, Orlando died. His prayer was heard. 1 day after he died, a messenger came from the Vatican to say, "You're fired." They missed him. In fact, why would he be fired? The poems for this piece are by an author named Luigi Tanzio, who wrote 80 verses of the Tears of St. Peter. But of course, it was very challenging in that century to show St. Peter losing it, trying to commit suicide, his sense that his whole life was a failure. So this poetry was put on the list by the Inquisition, and this was illegal literature. It's incredible that Orlando di Lasso chose to set it as the last work of his life, but another sign that he didn't expect to hear it in his lifetime. One of the reasons why I've worked with the Grant Gershon and the Los Angeles Master Chorale on trying to stage this material is that Orlando is the great composer of the Renaissance, and the Renaissance means Bellini, Montaigne, Raphael, and Michelangelo. The music gives you the muscularity, the intense physicality of spiritual struggle that you see in the Michelangelo paintings of human bodies absolutely twisted into unbelievable levels of the soul wrestling with the flesh. The intensity of the flesh not being able to contain the unbearable struggle of the spirit is what we're trying to show in the human bodies. And what Orlando is trying to show in these complex, twisted harmonies, which are tortured and at the same time open into a kind of revelation, a kind of strange understanding, recognition. And those frozen moments that you have in a Michelangelo tableau of this incredible, the body being pushed past its limits, but also the sensuality that is inside spirituality, the taste, the smell, the beauty of life, a young woman's beautiful cheek. All of that sensuality and joy is inside this music of regret and heartbreak. It's a very special work. I'm very pleased that you will be able to experience it today.